And last for this session, we're going to hear from Cara Birkenmayer at Abelobi. Cara, there she is.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations for making it this far, and thank you for attending my talk today. My name is Cara Birkenmayer. I work with Abelobi, and my role is International Projects Manager. I work particularly on the Fisher-to-Marketplace deployments. This is the fourth presentation by an Abelobi staff member this conference, so I'm going to try not to repeat anything that has been talked about too often, but just for those that were unable to attend any of our previous presentations, I will try to summarize and provide context as I go. So today I'm going to speak particularly about what we do aside from tech. I know the theme here is tech, but I'm going to talk particularly about the way in which we design our tech in such a way to make it as relevant as possible to specific communities, while at the same time remaining to some extent standardized. I'm not going to spend too long on this slide. We all know about the importance of small-scale fishing communities. Feel free to check out those statistics at a later time. For now, an introduction to our tech suite. We basically create various ICTs. You can see a couple of them listed here. The Monitor application is a community-based data collection tool, but I will focus particularly on the Abelobi Fisher and the Abelobi Marketplace apps. Abelobi Fisher is effectively a catch logging app. In addition to that, there is a bit of a financial reporting side to it, making it, in addition to just a catch logging app, also a small business management tool. In addition, there are some personalized data analytics and visualizations available for the fisher to have a look at their historical data. Here are a couple of screenshots, but I'm going to skip past these because we'll be coming back to them quite soon. After this, then here we can take a look at the Marketplace app. Now, the data that flows into our data warehouse through the Fisher app as well as the Monitor app is then passed through our admin panel, which is effectively a web-based home for all of the data in which you can, admin users can manage that data. And then a selected part of the catch that has been logged can then be advertised on a digital marketplace. This app in South Africa is completely free to download. It is available for chefs, for individual home buyers, and for retailers as well. The screenshot on here is from our South African one, so you can see that we've got some value-added products there as well. But generally in our international sphere, we work mainly with fresh and unprocessed fish. This is a quick screenshot of the Monitor app. As I mentioned, this is more community-based data logging as opposed to the Fisher app, which is individual-based. So this is a slide that you may have seen several times, but I do like it. It's a very sort of simplistic but descriptive diagram of exactly what we do. So the blue line here is the flow of data throughout our system. You can see that it is input both in the Fisher and the Monitor app. It flows into our data warehouse, and that is available to our buyers. The end buyers, they have access to that story, something I'll get to in a minute. The white line here is the flow of product. So not only does it flow to market, but also you can see that there is a food security aspect of what we do. Now, the challenges that are faced by small-scale fishing communities are almost unending. This is just a small selection on the screen. But we face a different challenge when we embark on scaling. So we were born in South Africa, but since then, since 2017, when we were started in South Africa, we have expanded quite a bit internationally, and that is part of my job, is to go to various international places and see, what are the needs in this requirement, and how can we adapt our tech. So our challenge is to adapt our tech in such a way that we are actually making our apps useful and relevant. Now, this is an incredibly important aspect of Fisher buy-in, and that is going to be the main topic today, when I work in the Mediterranean, the problems faced by small-scale fishing communities there could be completely different to what is faced in a small-scale fishing community in a remote island in, say, Palau. And we have to be very much not only aware of those, but also adaptable to those varied situations and contexts. So we have various ways of preparing ourselves and our technology for this. The first way I want to talk about is our scoping tools. Scoping tools are massively important, mainly for us, actually. We go to the fishers, but the scoping tools enable us to understand the context. It is an information gathering process. It is preferably held in person, where we learn to understand not only the current value chains that are in place, but also the geography. Where are the landing sites? Who are the current actors in the value chain? Where are these things happening? It involves quite a bit of mapping. It is very participatory. And we make sure that this is an inclusive exercise and involves very, very few materials so that it's very easy to run out, particularly in very remote areas. Here are a couple of photos of one such mapping exercise. I think this was from South Africa. But on the other side, we also engage with buyers. This was an interview I did in Palau, where we were doing quite in-depth market research, because of course we don't only have to meet the needs of the fishers, but also we have to match those with the needs of the buyers. The next step is to map this out. So I do a process I call process flow mapping, which is effectively mapping out the movement of fish from fisher to buyer, and then creating effectively an additional flow, not only of the product, but also of sort of communication along that value chain, as well as technological events along that value chain. This is a proposed alternative. My aim is to create an alternative process flow that departs minimally from current practices. I believe that by fitting into the situation, the local situation, whatever that may be, by departing from that minimally, we are going to make it as small a change as possible to partake in this, call it new and improved value chain, and I think that this really promotes buy-in. I should say that this is very much a hallmark of our pilot projects. The South African deployment is quite separate in that it's quite well established and more formalized. But a very important part of what I do is this process flow mapping. It also reads pretty much as an instruction manual for every person along the value chain and what they are supposed to do. This is an example of what it might look like. This one particularly was done for an organization in Chile, and it looks completely different from what it would look like in Palau. They use the technology in different ways. The technology is set up in different ways, and of course the logistics are very contextual. The next part I want to talk about is co-design. Now, this is where we sit down with the fishers once again, and we design the app according to their needs. Now, on the most basic level, this could be language. We make sure that our app is available in whatever the local languages are, or whatever people prefer to use. In addition to that, we make sure that the landing sites that you can select are reflective of that of the local region. We make sure that the species that are available or visible in the app correspond to a particular region within that community. For example, here we can see the South African layout. These questions have been chosen to appear by the fishers in South Africa. Similarly, in Chile, those questions only appear because it was deemed necessary in that context. So we do strive to be as configurable as possible. And that will depend on the priorities. In South Africa, the priority is more data. In Chile, the priority is ease of use. So in the Chile deployment, it takes maybe 30 seconds to log a catch, and that data is less comprehensive, but at the same time, it is meeting the needs of that particular deployment. Here's just an example of some of the methods and the species. Again, this is from the South African Fisher app. I want to talk a little bit about the buyer side. Right here, we can see what we call the hook-to-cook page. I like how all these organizations have their own little, what was yours, sea to shelf. We've got hook to cook, and this is the story. So this is particularly the Greek hook to cook page. So once a Greek buyer receives catch that they have bought off the Abalobi marketplace, they also receive, along with their invoice, a QR code. They're able to scan this QR code, and it takes them to a page that looks like this. Now, this page is reflective of that product particularly. So it reflects exactly who caught that fish, where it was caught, some background information about that person's community, some information about the catch method. Perhaps that might be, if it's boat-based, that could be one thing. Otherwise, it could be some details about the traps they used or whatever. And of course, we've got some nice links to our website, always. This is also completely configurable. In Chile, they have a completely different video, etc. So, to end us off, I basically want to draw this together. I think that in the last 3 days, we've heard an awful lot about technology, but a theme that has also come through quite a bit is that technology is no more than a tool, and it is very much what we do with it that matters. The intent is very much reflective of where it's going to go. So this presentation was focused much more on the touch element. We call it tech and touch. And the touch is what makes it usable. The touch is what makes it relevant. And the touch aspect is effectively what's going to drive buy-in. So if you're interested in chatting to me, please do feel free to add me on LinkedIn. I'm very eager to continue these conversations. And thank you very much for your time.